Greetings and welcome into the Sports Shuffle Marathon podcasting session
That's
tonight.
what happens when you have weather when you're trying to podcast and it's like lightning outside and
Yeah, we've
not
had
conducive.
very bad thunderstorms near us, and electricity and electronics doesn't always get along, especially when that electricity is thrown from the sky.
What is it like?
Yeah.
Like Schoolhouse Rock, electricity, electricity. Yeah.
30 seconds in, we're on a tangent. I am Flying Ryan Go Christ along with.
Tampa Motor Mouth, Joel Verlin.
So this episode is going to be the AFC Preview. We're also going to do immediately after our two draft lotteries. We do a 16 and 10 team. I've got a bunch of ping pong balls in a bag. We'll spin a wheel. It'll be a great time. All our
Not
league
as
mates
rigged
will
as
finally know
the NBA lottery.
yeah, all our league mates will finally know their draft positions in that one, those two actually. And then after that, we'll be doing our NFC previews. That's what happens when you're drastically behind. And the next week, we really need to jump into the fantasy analysis because, Joel, I don't know if you realize this, we are 6 days from our Yahoo draft, first one. So it definitely sneaking up on us quickly. Just want to make sure that is actually set for the time it's supposed to. I believe it's 7:30.
We do have to briefly, I think, address the Michigan penalties.
Did that actually come down officially? Because I saw something. Did you see an official on that? Because I saw a rumor that the national championship was getting vacated and 5-year bowl ban. Did that actually officially come down?
Not that I saw. What I saw was that they actually didn't have anything vacated. When did this happen?
I saw a rumor about it yesterday before it was official.
No, because
that's what I'm saying. Did it officially get released? What they're being?
No, because the only things that have been official have been no kind of postseason ban or removal for them whatsoever. Nothing vacated. It's only about $20 million worth of fines from various revenue streams. Their head coach is going to be suspended, I think, for a number of
not
games.
even the same head coach, but that's fine.
And that's pretty much it. As the general feeling is that they got off scot-free for an insane sign stealing scandal.
Yeah. Not a Michigan fan on my end. I'll be perfectly honest about that. And I think the punishment's light, probably because Jim Harbaugh, the head coach that was, over the program when they got busted with this.
He's eligible to be back in college football 2038.
Yeah, he's in Los Angeles with the Chargers, so they're not going to punish him because they can't. At least not currently.
Yeah, the dude that I'm Stallion, I think, right?
Yeah.
That one. Apparently, there was 50 because I was hearing them talk on Update that there was 54 instances of the dude literally going to the opponents that Michigan was going to play and literally researching the signs.
Yeah, and there's a whole Netflix Untold documentary on the sign stealing.
You ain't trying.
Now, all that being said, with half the players gone for sure, if not all of the players gone, the head coaching setup gone, a lot of the coordinators gone, not surprised as a light punishment. You still have to have the talent and ability to win the game, even if you know it's coming, but we digress.
So which was worse, this or what the Astros did?
I mean, they're basically the same thing. I think baseball, you're much more... You can know what's coming in football, but you still have to know, okay, well, if I cover the number one and the number two wide receiver, the tight end, the running back, the other wide receiver, the quarterback can scramble. Like, you still have to beat the offensive line. In baseball, knowing you're getting a fastball helps you a lot because you know to look, okay, the ball's coming, it's going to stay on this plane instead of just dive down on like a curveball or a slider or something. Like, I think that's a bigger piece of information. So I'd say the Astros are worse. Also, that's professionals. I think you can make the case that, cheating around college-age kids is worse because they're still somewhat impressionable, but that's a whole different thing. But for the Astros to win a World Series on the back of that, and I think that information is just more valuable than, hey, they're going to run cover two, or they're going to have two wide receivers run slant routes. Like, well, you still got to cover the tight end and the running back and stop the quarterback from the scramble. Like, I think it's worse for baseball. All right, we know this is going to be a long one. We would like to finish this before midnight. All of our stuff. It's only 5:30. We're going to
After
finish before midnight,
midnight.
but we don't want to be doing this all night. As much fun as it is, so we're going to go
Yeah,
straight.
voices only tend to last so long anyway.
So we are going to go straight into the AFC. What we're going to do is break down each division, give a projection for the win totals we expect for each team. Then we'll give our 7
I'm
playoff.
not. I just have the
Just
teams 1, 2, 3,
oh, he's
4.
got one. Okay,
Yeah.
I will give a rough estimate, probably more of a ceiling floor or a little range on their wins, and then I'll have some playoff opinions. I don't know if Joel's going to have
Playoff?
his put together. Just the
Yeah,
7
I'll do
getting in.
mine on a later show.
Okay. Yeah, just kind of 1 through 7, and then we'll wrap it up and get moving. So we'll start with the AFC East. The Dolphins are, of course, my team, as you can tell by the hat, as Luna's bringing the string, because that is her team.
I've heard Miami has the Dolphins a football team. Yeah.
Yeah, they take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen, and that means usually with brain damage and a lot of speed in the process. But last year,
I thought it was they dropped the ball from goal to goal. Okay, I'm bad. Bad Joel. Bad Joel.
I'm still mad at Tua for diving headfirst with brain trauma into the chest of a man with a heart problem. But that is a different thing.
You have to love Tyreek Hill professing how important stretching is, and then 2 days later not showing up for stretching.
He's a weird guy. Anyways, last year the Dolphins were not the winners of this division, and they were the closest, and they weren't close. The Bills went 13-4, won the division. The Dolphins were second place, 8-9. Tua did miss a lot of time, which hurt, but 8-9 is still 8-9. The Jets, with Aaron Rodgers, finished at 5-12, which was 2 games worse than they did with now Dolphins backup quarterback Zach Wilson running the show. And the New England Patriots are 4-13 last season. They are a trendy pick for a team on the rise. So, quickly, we'll go to Buffalo. Buffalo, obviously, for your fantasy option, you're going to have the freshly signed James Cook in the backfield. Massive contract, $30 million guarantee. And Josh Allen is going to be an absolute stud. The wide receivers, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, a little bit more risky, a little bit more take your shot. Hopefully it works out for you. But the fantasy option on this team are really James Cook and Josh Allen. You can make an argument if you play with defense, this could be a good defense, but a couple rough matchups early. Joel, tell me your thoughts on Buffalo.
Yeah, just Buffalo with the Bills. It's just they're a team that it's hard, very hard to pick against them getting the crown again for the AFC East. They tend to suck or get screwed when it counts in the playoffs the most, but when it's regular season, Josh Allen just does amazing things, and somehow they win. So you got to put them first.
This is still going to be a top team in the AFC. As much as I would like to think the Dolphins have a shot of taking this division, and I do think they probably have the best roster to do it.
They can win against good
currently.
teams and teams that are
They
on the
have a
road.
soft schedule, but so does Buffalo. I just think Buffalo would need Josh Allen to get hurt for this division to really come into play. They are just that much further ahead in talent than anybody else. I think the Dolphins, talent-wise, if Tua stays healthy, offensively at the very least, can match up. Defense is their weak point. Jets and Patriots. The Patriots, I think, are 2 years away. Perfectly frank, I don't think this is going to be the year they jump up and snag a playoff spot, but they will be better than they were last year. I just can't see Buffalo taking that much of a step back. That defense, they've made some moves. They've tried to tweak some things. They did a good job in the draft. I just see Buffalo as a team that if they win less than 12, it's a little bit of a disappointing regular season. Obviously, they don't get them in the playoffs. They should win this division. I think you and I are going to agree 100%. This is probably going to be one of those you're looking at Thanksgiving to the first week of December going, all right, have they clinched yet? Because if the Dolphins have their problems, the Patriots aren't the surprise team, and the Jets are, well, the Jets.
Just end the
The
season.
Bills could be running away by week 12, week 13, and it's all but mathematically over at best. So we'll go to the team that was second place in the division last year. Maybe a little more discussion. The Miami Dolphins. They were 8-9. Tua's injury was a big part of that. They've been ravaged by injuries. I know Chop Robinson already has been carted off the field this preseason. I didn't see a follow-up on him, defensive lineman. They're getting Phillips and Chubb back. They made the trade getting rid of John U. Smith and Jalen Ramsey. Got back Minka Fitzpatrick, Tyreek Hill. There's all the whatever you want to call it around Tyreek Hill with the wrist and the drama and the
Rama
not
Lama.
stretching and then Waddle and Achane. So fantasy aspects on this one. Devon Achane, I think, is your safest bet. He's not a great runner in the red zone, but he's explosive enough to get those long range touchdowns and a pass catcher. No doubt, as long as Tua healthy, he's going to be a top 10 running back. And if Tua's healthy whole season, he's got top 3, top 4 potential. Probably going to finish in that 5 to 10 range realistically. Tyreek Hill, Jaden Waddle, good options.
Tyreek dealing without a new injury?
He's always been injured, man. Like going back to his Kansas City days, he was always dealing with something nagging. Tyreek Hill right now going around the 4th round in a lot of drafts. Waddle a few rounds later. You're not paying the premium you used to for these guys, so they might be good fantasy assets. And then Tua is just not really in discussion. I think people are just tired of saying, well, Tua's great when he's healthy, banking on him to be healthy. He gets hurt doing something stupid, and then he's out, and you have to figure out something out. So they're just people are going other ways. He's not really being drafted in most leagues. 16-team league that we have, he might be. The defense, the secondary is going to be really, really bad. The front 7 might be one of the top 5 or 6 units in the league, but the back end's going to be real rough. So Joel, tell me what you got for the Dolphins.
Yeah, number 2, definitely I have to agree with you behind the Bills. As for the Dolphins, the only reason that they're number 2 is you have the Jets, and they're not going to be here, and the Patriots, sir. Well, there's something. I mean, you're not really sure about the Dolphin defense, and that offense is a contingent on one thing, and that's Tua staying healthy. But I think they have enough to dirt through to get number 2.
Yeah, it's a fairly soft schedule this year. If Tua stays healthy, I think this is a team pushing for a wild card spot, even with the weaker back end. I think that offense is going to be a little bit better. There were a lot of factors last year that led to John U. Smith being their leading receiver. Part of that was the injury to Tua. Part of that was a just decimated offensive line with injuries. Their offensive line still has some problems, but I think they have a little bit more going on in the trenches than they did last year. I think their running back core, even though Madison is now out for the season, who was a good help around the goal line, I think they're still going to be good enough offensively. They have a soft enough schedule. Now, if Tua gets hurt, this could be a 5-win team very easily. Like, this is one of those, if you go a range, like a lot of people say they're the top end and the bottom end, this is a team that can go 4-13 if Tua gets hurt and things go really bad on that defense. But if everything goes right, they could be challenging Buffalo for the division with 12 or 13 wins. They have, like, the biggest spread. I think they're going to be around 10 wins. I think they're going to be battling for a wild card and the clear number 2 in this division. Going to the Jets, and we're doing this in the order they'd finished last year. They finished in 3rd at 5-12. Fantasy assets, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1, really the only pass-catching option there that's well known. Mason Taylor is the rookie tight end. He's getting a little bit of buzz. He might be someone to keep in the back of your mind for deeper leagues or dynasty leagues, or if you just want to take your shot on somebody. And then Breece Hall, which I don't know, Joel, if you've heard what Breece Hall has been saying is, oh, yeah, I'm not this regime's guy. He was talking about the Cook contract, another running back. Hey, they really deserve it. They've been in better situations than I've been, but they deserve their money. And he's really like taking shots at the Jets while still technically being the running back 1. So for fantasy, I don't really like that. If he falls far enough down.
Breece for impact.
If that's actually a good fantasy football name if you have Breece Hall and you want to go that route. If he falls far enough in draft, he's also in the contract year. It's also possible he gets traded if they like guys behind him like Braylon Allen. I think Isaiah Davis is the other one back there. It's possible he becomes a steal if he either excels or gets traded. It's just a really weird situation. The Jets defense still going to be very, very good. Aaron Glenn coming over, a defensive-minded head coach. The defense should go back to what they used to be. But it's the Jets. Joe, what do you got?
Well, all I got is the Jets are last. Why? Yeah, good defense, but you need to have something on the other side of the ball. And my one question is, okay, after the Jets have the year everyone is projecting that they're going to have, will Aaron finally retire and go away from football? And I'm asking that. Please retire.
Yeah, Justin Fields taking over there for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers going to Pittsburgh. He probably
Oh
should
yeah.
have retired. Yeah, I know. He probably should have retired, but we'll get to him in a little bit. I agree with you. The Jets, I just don't see him being any better. I don't think Justin Fields he's not better than Aaron Rodgers was last year. I don't think Rodgers was
Well,
necessarily the problem, but
they juxtaposed and switched teams.
yeah, I just don't think they have enough weapons, especially if Brees Hall in this disgruntled noise just keeps growing. I don't think Bray Allen's is good. I just don't think this team is quite as talented, top to bottom on the offensive side as New England. I think defensively they're close enough where New England's going to overtake them in the division. I think the Jets are probably a 5 or 6 win team once again, and if they are lucky, they'll have a top 5 pick and be able to go make a move and try and
Who
get their franchise quarterback and
will do
hopefully
more
move
running,
on.
Brees Hall, or Justin Fields?
Whew. The talk around Brees Hall is so negative. It could be Justin Fields for this team. Because again, I think there's a decent chance Brees Hall gets traded by week 6. You look at a team like Dallas, who's right now got Jalen Blue, Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Deuce Vaughn. If they can get Brees Hall, I think they're going to try and do it, especially if they remain in contention. If the Jets are done with Brees Hall, I think Brees Hall is done with the Jets. That could be a way out. And then he might be a good fantasy asset, but then he wouldn't be running for the Jets. So it might be Justin Fields. All right, let's go to the team that finished at 4-13 last season, was the last place New England Patriots, but Drake May showed some signs of life. They've got Stephon Diggs. They got Travion Henderson in the draft at running back. Their wide receiver core looks like it's solidifying. Kyle Williams had a lot of hype around him, another rookie, but they still have Pop Douglas and Keyshawn Boutte. It could be a very good offense. I think it's going to take another year. Of course, Mike Vrabel now the head coach in New England, so it should get better. The defense is going to have to stay healthy, but they've been a pretty strong unit overall. Tell me what you think about the Patriots this year.
Ugh, yeah, just one of those teams that they can probably have some surprising wins here and there. Come what may, another good fantasy team name. But yeah, I'm thinking that the only reason they're going to be in third place is the Jets are going to suck so bad they'll be last.
Yeah, I do think the Patriots take a strong step forward from a 4-win team, probably to that 7 or 8 range. They're probably on the bottom of that in the hunt picture that we see week 15, week 16. I think they probably fall off around there, but I think they'll be floating around 500 most of the season. Finish with 7 or 8 wins, and you go, okay, it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully, Drake May for them shows some progress. Hopefully, Stephon Diggs not completely washed. If Trayvon Henderson looks as good as he's had in the preseason, this could be an absolute home run pick for them. I think the Patriots are sending us, again, I said at the beginning, I think they're about another year out from really being in that wild card contention, playoff contention. But we see teams go from the bottom to the top all the time. We saw it with Washington last year. Nobody gave them a chance. New England's at least been giving a chance, so it's possible. But we're going to agree. Buffalo, Miami, New England, and the Jets
Yeah,
in the AFC.
Patriots are one of those teams that a lot of people you're hearing hype about, and it's good hype, not bad hype.
It's the team that goes worst to first is never a team you're sitting there hearing the hype about. So it just seems like it's the one that comes blindly out of nowhere that does it. So I don't think it's going to be the Patriots. I also don't think they're able to surpass Buffalo, which is the other end of this one. But I do think they'll be improved. They'll get a win that you're going to look at and go, oh, okay, they're on their way. They beat a big boy this
It's
year.
still the Bills' division to lose.
Absolutely. Moving on to the AFC North. Last season, 3 teams had potential for the playoffs, and then there was the Browns. The Ravens won the division at 12-5. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Does playoffs actually mean getting to the playoffs or winning the playoffs?
I mean, getting to the playoffs counts. I know if we count wins, Miami's got one of the longest playoff win droughts in sports right now for American sports. So, yeah, getting in counts a little bit. Baltimore won the division at 12-5. Pittsburgh, with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, about half and half on the season, made the playoffs at 10-7. The Bengals, with one of the worst defenses, even though they gave up fewer points than Cleveland, who has a great defense in theory. Finished 9-8, just missed the playoffs in the Browns, 3-14. Had the number 2 overall pick, traded away to Jacksonville, which ended up being Travis Hunter. For Baltimore, this is a team with a lot of good fantasy options. You have, of course, Lamar and Derrick Henry. Henry, I've seen in the first round of some mock drafts. I actually watched the
Did
latest
you
fantasy
did you see? Because
footballers.
there was a graphic that I saw about Henry's high school touchdowns. Absolutely
Yeah.
freaking insane. I was just like, how many?
Yeah, he is built differently. Like there's not many players you look at and go, yeah, this is like, oh, you want to look at the age cliff for running backs at 28, 29. Derrick Henry is just built differently. You bet on Derrick Henry until the wheels actually fall off. I am perfectly happy. I've got him in a dynasty league. I could have traded him 2-3 years ago. I am perfectly happy holding the bag on this guy because he might have 2-3 more years. He got re-signed to Baltimore already. He's going to be an absolute stud. Again, I've seen him in the last Fantasy Footballers mock draft. I think he went 107 or 108. So a first round pick at 31, 32. Lamar Jackson going to be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks taken off the board. Zay Flowers still there in consideration. Mark Andrews falling in drafts mostly because he had a couple really bad plays in the playoff game and he had some really bad times
Yeah,
early last season.
nobody ever saw that at all.
No, but he also started the season with like a point and a half and then 2 zeros in a row. And then he got dropped by a lot of people. And then people like me picked him up and had a good time the rest of the season with Mark Andrews. So there's some burns out there for Mark Andrews, but he's going 7th, 8th, 9th round down with Travis Kelce, which is another player that's surprisingly low in draft boards right now. Zay Flowers, again, still there. Rashad Bateman, still there. Not necessarily top flight options, but Zay Flowers is a pretty good discount for what he has done. Late 6th, early 7th round kind of guy. 12-5 team. They're one of the favorites for the AFC title for best regular season record and to make the Super Bowl. We can say what we want about Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, but if you look at his stat lines, it really hasn't been him. He had them able to win that playoff game if Mark Andrews can just catch the 2-point conversion and slide in like he was sliding anyways. What do you got for Baltimore?
Yeah, just Baltimore literally, sorry, though no one is dethroning the Ravens. Is just, with Lamar Jackson, King Henry, as you just mentioned, you use him until the wheels fall off. And yeah, it's insane that the Ravens can definitely disappoint, when it counts, a la like the Bills, but yeah, let me tell you that when it comes to the regular season, they are literally unstoppable and not a force you want to have your team run into. As my Bucks remember what that Monday Night Football game, good God, was against them. That Chris Godwin was injured in the hit that was determined to be not a hip drop tackle, even though we think it was.
Yeah, yeah. The hip drop rule didn't really do much. As much as I want to pick another team in this division, I can't
It's
get
hard
there.
making the case to dethrone the Ravens. They just
The thing is, if I was going to say someone else going to win this division, would be Cincinnati. If that defense takes any kind of step forward, the offense is good enough to win a stunning amount of games. You pull a couple upsets, beat Baltimore in the division head to head at least once. It's possible. I just see Baltimore again, a 12 or 13 win team.
yeah,
They're going to find a way into the playoffs for sure and likely going to win this division. I'm going to take them first in the division, but it's not as solid as Buffalo by any stretch of the imagination.
yeah, because of the Bengals offense.
Yeah, the Bengals offense could put up 40 points, and I think they did it in a few games where you're like, how did they put 40 points on that defense, but they gave up 43 and lost? They also have some bad calls like the Chiefs game where it was a phantom pass interference that cost them win against the Chiefs and knocked them out of the playoffs, gave the Chiefs the 1 seed, and so on and so forth, whatever. Anyways, we'll go to the team that finished second place in the division last year, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are now helmed at quarterback by
The
Aaron
current
Rodgers.
home of Aaron Rodgers.
They have traded, or they've picked up DK Metcalf and traded George Pickens out of town. Najee Harris is playing Pirate in Los Angeles. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll get to it. They did draft Caleb Johnson in the backfield. They still have Jalen Warren, so it could be a really good 1-2 punch still in the backfield. But then you've got Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson. They did get John Smith from Miami. Still have Pat Frymuth. I've seen a lot of 3 tight end rumors coming out of Pittsburgh, which okay. Defense should still be good. They just re-signed J.J. Watt to a massive deal because you're supposed to take care of your
Show
best
him
players.
the money.
Jerry Jones, Bengals ownership. You're supposed to take care of your best players and show them the money. Anyways, I digress. But Pittsburgh's defense should still be pretty good. They still have Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin still never had a season below 500. Does that continue? And if it does, is it good enough to get him in the playoffs?
Yeah, because the Steelers, they always seem to be rebuilding. And will this be the year, as you just mentioned, that the streak, the winning season over 500, the perpetual, endless 9-8 for Coach Mike Tomlin? Do they finally lose in the wild card round, or maybe even before? What does that mean? Is there a little bit of a change at the top? And yeah, so how bad of a season will Najee Harris with his off-season accident? How will he have? And can DK cook in the Steel City?
I think DK is going to be fine. I don't know how that backfield's going to shake out between Jalen Warren and the rookie Caleb Johnson. It's very possible Caleb Johnson takes over at some point. I've seen comparisons to Le'Veon Bell, who, of course, is a Pittsburgh legend. I don't think they have the weapons offensively to challenge Baltimore up top. If Cincinnati's defense is good, I see them as the third place team in this division. Joel, I don't know if you said where you think they're going to finish, but I think they're going to be the third place team in the division.
Yeah, I agree.
I
I have them as third place.
And I just don't think Rodgers is what he used to be. I do think he's going to be an improvement over what Russell Wilson was, or at least
We will still be asking, will he retire when the season is done?
in theory. He has said this is the last season. Now, that doesn't mean it will be, but he has said it will be.
Will he do another
It could
darkness
change.
retreat?
It could be another darkness retreat. It could be a Brett Favre situation. Who knows? He's still got to go to his Minnesota era.
Brett Favre.
But yeah, the thing about the Steelers is they are going to be in wild card contention, even with those god awful yellow unis they've debuted that they're going to play against Pittsburgh. They're going to play
Pittsburgh
against Green
Pirates,
Bay.
1933, when they
Yeah,
finished
they're going to.
last in the division.
Aaron Rodgers gets to go up and play his former Green Bay Packers team, looking like a dandelion.
And the game in those uniforms, the Packers absolutely smoked them.
Yeah, prime time. That's a sight we all have to see.
I'm curious if you can have anybody who bets the Packers in that game and based on the whole uniform and what happened in history. You know somebody's going to do that angle.
I mean, it's not a good bet to make, but people will do it. But I see Pittsburgh as right around an 8-9, 9-8 team, which with Mike Tomlin probably means 9-8. If they fire Mike Tomlin for 9-8 after they've maintained this good of a floor for so long, I only hope when they fire him, it's if the Dolphins end up having a bad season and go a different direction. I hope they fire Mike Tomlin, make him available, because he would be a great coach for the Dolphins or any other team who needs an opening filled at the end of the season. All right, next up we have the Cincinnati Bengals. And offensively, this is a fun team. Fantasy-wise, there is really no bad option on this roster. Jamar Chase is arguably the 101 overall.
Yeah, it's kind of a
leagues.
duh.
If you get any kind of PPR, he's almost guaranteed to be a 101. Standard leagues, if you still play, I have one of those. He might not be 101 in that one, just you don't get the points for the reception and running backs get more opportunity. But even then, not a guarantee. T. Higgins signed a recent contract. He is still going to be there. Whether he's healthy or not, that's a different problem. Chase Brown, he was great when he got the full-time run last year. We saw Mike Gesicki have opportunities. Of course, if all those guys are good, that means Joe Burrow is going to be very good. And another thing about the Cincinnati Bengals is their defense stinks, so their offense is going to have to put up numbers. So, fantasy-wise, last year I wanted a Lion. If I can get a Lion out of the draft, I was happy. I think this year it might be Cincinnati. Give me somebody from that roster if I can get them, but they're all going to come in a premium. I think they're all gone by round 5, with Burrow being the latest of them. I think most of them might be round 3. So, yeah, might have to pay up, but offensively, they can be great. Defensively, they still have to figure out the Hendrickson deal. They finally got their first-round rookie, Shamar Stewart, signed and in camp.
After all of the language and with the contract
Yeah.
craziness.
Yeah, and that was a little overblown when you finally find out what it was talking about. But I digress. If the defense steps up, this could be a very scary, very dangerous team. They usually start very, very slow, but Joe Burrow's been injured every training camp, preseason, whether it's injury or he had his appendix out one year, until this year. So maybe they hit the ground a little faster, a little more on their feet this year instead of flat on their face, losing to the Patriots in the week 1 last year. Tell me what you think about Cincy.
Yeah, because with Cincy last year, everything was about the off the field issues, and you can definitely tell that that carried over into the first early part of the season, and that is what, in fact, just kept them out, barely missing the playoffs. As man, when they talk about when a team gets to the Super Bowl and loses, and you have that curse, the Bengals are definitely proving because you have to wonder if they're ever going to go back to the Super Bowl. But I've got them at number 2 because when you look past the Ravens and you look past the Bengals, I don't see anybody that can really challenge for that number 2 position.
Yeah, they finished with almost 100 points more than Pittsburgh, allowing almost 100 points more. So it was a 200-point swing offense defense. They finished one game worth with a better net differential, which is just it's impressive. If that defense takes a step at all, I think they're almost sure thing for a playoff team. I think they're going to be a 10 or 11 win team. I think this division has the potential of sending 3 teams to the playoffs. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but they definitely have the potential with Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati. I'm going to say Cincy is definitely the number 2 team in this division. Like I said, I want to make the case they can challenge Baltimore. I just don't think that defense is good enough. Even if they improve, I don't think they're going to quite be good enough to challenge for that. And
Now
then,
for Cleveland. Oh, yes.
if it wasn't for New Orleans,
Yeah.
Cleveland would be the team you look at and go, oh,
Yeah.
dear God. Now,
Oh,
I'm going to
no. We
try
suck again.
I am going to actually try and paint a glass half full picture for Cleveland.
That will be a challenge. You will be a master of motivation if you can do this and carry it.
So, Jerome Ford, the running back, he was good in his opportunity last year after Nick Chubb went down. Quinshon Judkins, the rookie they just drafted, they're not pressing the charges. The charges have been dropped. So if there's a disciplinary issue with the NFL, it should wrap up soon. It's not going to be as significant because the charges have been
Something
dropped in
positive
theory.
for the Browns.
So
Is that
that's
possible?
positive. You look at Cedric Tillman coming back from the concussion. He was good when he played last season. David Njoku's been very good. Jerry Jeudy looked like a very good wide receiver for a minute out there. Deontay Johnson, name we don't talk about very often anymore, but he's making good waves at camp. And we've seen Joe Flacco with the Browns be good. Now, I'm not trying to say that a team that scored 258 points last year is all of a sudden going to be a 400-point team this year. But they can make a step in the right direction just by not having to play Deshaun Watson for the first 7 games and then having Dorian Thompson-Robinson play a few games. I mean, we saw the Jameis Winston, the best offensive game. They lost to Denver because Jameis Winston threw 2 pick-6, and thank you for putting me in the
That would
playoffs,
be the
by the
time
way.
machine. You go back in time. Don't take Deshaun.
Yeah. It's one of those things like they gave up so many points offensively to the other team that their defense looked worse. Their defense is still very, very good. That didn't change.
Give up points to the other team. Jameis Winston approves of that comment.
Deshaun Watson did it. Dorian Thompson-Robinson did it. Jameis Winston is an all-world Jedi at it. Like, I mean, they probably gave up 50, 60 points the other way on just like pick sixes, fumble recoveries, and just gifts.
Pick 12.
Yeah.
Pick 24.
Yeah, I had Denver and the Jerry Jeudy in the same game when they played each other, and Denver got me in the playoffs because they had 2 touchdowns in that game defensively, and Jerry Jeudy went bananas.
Go bananas. Go bananas.
So, if everything works out and Joe Flacco is truly the starter, gets the full season, and he looks like he did when he was with Cleveland a couple years ago, wasn't that long ago, this could be a team that is, I'm not going to say sneaky good, but sneaky, not as bad as we think.
Sneaky, it won't suck.
Sneaky, average. Sneaky average. Because right now, I think people are looking at Cleveland going, if they're not the worst team in the AFC, I don't know who is. I mean, who else is in contention? New England, the Jets, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Las Vegas were the next bottom dwellers last season. I mean, everybody else had 8 wins or more in the conference. So if you look at the conference and you look at Cleveland, who do you put below them if things go badly? But if things go well, they could be sneaky average. So, Joel, tell me, I'm sure you're going to paint the doom and gloom side. So let's bring us back to reality.
Yeah, just the biggest dumpster fire in the QB room, I think, in the
We got to talk
freaking
about the QB room.
league. As oh my god, when you just saw the graphic of you're going what?
So let me
Who?
break down the roster. You still have
Okay,
Deshaun Watson, who's injured. He's not going to play. He really hurt his Achilles. He's probably going to be gone soon enough. I did mention Joe Flacco, currently listed as the starter. They traded for Kenny Pickett, which why I don't know, but he did just come off technically winning a
because they
Super Bowl with the
claim
Eagles. Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders in the draft, and then they also, and I can't remember the guy's name all of a sudden, Tyler Huntley. They signed Tyler Huntley. He was a Dolphins backup. He was awful when Tua was out. So all 6 of those are in
so
the
that was a
quarterback room.
forgetting by design. That's why you
Yeah,
couldn't
I
remember
blocked
him.
that part of the season off. I'm like, who was it? And I'm like, Snoop. Oh yeah, Snoop Huntley, Tyler Huntley. Yeah, Snoop, because when you watch him, you wish you were high. I think that's the reasoning for it. But that being said, that is their quarterback room as of now. And I will say, Shador Sanders looked very good in the first preseason game, but it is the preseason playing
The
against backups.
preseason, pump the brakes when you have everyone going, I'm going to get the jersey. I'm going to get the jersey. It's not. He's not going in the Hall of Fame yet. Yo.
No. But he did look good. I just got to give him his due. He did look good in the first game. All right, so back to doom and gloom dumpster fire, Joel.
Yeah, but this team, you've seen the memes with the quarterback, jersey with all the names crossed off,
Yeah, they
and
might add 5 this year.
I know it's just the Cleveland is just the franchise when they're like hold their beer, hold they say hold their 6-pack. It's just there's more sadness coming from this factory. If you remember that famous video,
Factory of sadness.
yep. And I'm truly sorry, Cleveland. Also, if I can just do just some advice to the Browns, please do not get involved in any betting scandals like your MLB franchise currently has a little that going on, if I can say so. Yeah, but other than that, it's just they're the what is the Browns is the Browns. I remember the quote by one of the players. Not a player, it was a I think it was a Steelers player that said
Yeah.
that. But the Browns is the
The
Browns.
Browns is the Browns. Yeah, it's not great. I again, I do think they can be. We both have them last place. I don't think we need to go too far into that, but I think this could be a 6-win team at best, and be a little more competitive in those bad games. Now, Joe Flacco is not what we expect. The hype around Deontay Johnson, Cedric Tillman gets hurt again. You end up playing Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett, maybe Shador Sanders, and they are just not ready or not the guy. Whoo, boy, they could be battling for the number 1 overall pick very easily. I just have this weird feeling that you're going to get a little more luck on the health. You get a little more better play out of the quarterback with Flacco, and this team's going to be sneaky, average, just kind of hurting themselves long term. I think cutting Baker Mayfield and bringing Deshaun Watson, if there's anything that could bring a curse to a team, it's something stupid like that. Hey, the guy that got us to the playoffs and got a playoff win over Pittsburgh for the first time in 150,000 years. Yeah, we're going to let him go for a sex predator. Yeah, I think.
How excited do you think Baker Mayfield was when he was out of there? Like, you ding dong, the witch is dead.
I think right now he looks back and goes, God, I am glad Cleveland let me go. Even though he had to go through Carolina and the Rams. And I remember when the Bucs signed Baker Mayfield, you were like, oh boy, it's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
Your tone has changed.
it has.
Rightfully so, it has changed.
He's proved me wrong, and pleasantly so. He played way out of his mind last year.
Yeah, he was legitimately an MVP caliber player for most of the season. And Cleveland threw him away.
TB12 was a hard ass act to follow.
Yeah, and he's done really, really well. Baker Mayfield's done great. And the fact of the matter is that when you went and got Deshaun Watson, Cleveland, he's been real bad. He's been real bad. In
That's one of
fact,
the
I
times that
think
you wish
that's the
you could
nicest way I can say it.
fire an owner.
Yeah, they should be able to fire a lot of people on that team that I don't think they can. But yeah, if there's anything that can provide a curse, it's getting rid of a charismatic, talented player for a sexual predator who's missed most of the possible time he could have played with you and been bad when he hasn't missed time.
Yeah, because when you know it's bad when you have the whole Justin Tucker case, and you're going and you're comparing the number of accusations as opposed to Deshaun Watson. You go, well, it's about a half of a Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, so he should get a 5.5 game suspension if he actually makes team. The difference is he's a kicker. He's never going to see the light of day again in the NFL. Period. Going to the AFC South. This is a team that's best net point differential was
You're going to
0.
think I am absolutely nuts with this.
This is a division where anything can happen. We talked about
Or maybe
worst to
not.
first. The Texans are by far the favorite. Let's just go there. Last season they were 10-7. They were the only team with a non-negative point differential with 0. They had 372 for and against. Indianapolis was second at 8-9. They did have Joe Flacco for some of those games and Anthony Richardson for the rest. Jacksonville 4-13. Kind of a lost season. A lot of injuries, a lot of turnover. New head coach Liam Cohen coming over from the Bucs. We was just glowing about Baker Mayfield. He was a part of that. And then Tennessee Titans had the number 1 overall pick, got Cam Ward. Cam Ward's a very good player. They've got some pieces around him. So this is a division that can go any direction. Now,
Except for the Colts finishing at the top.
Because I think this is one, because we've agreed in the last 2. This is one where I think there's a very good chance we have a differentiating opinion. So let's just go and say the order of the teams first, then we'll break them down. So Joel, give me your order for this division.
Okay, just the order and nothing else, right?
Just the order,
Okay.
top to bottom.
Number 1, Jaguars. Number 2, Texans. Number 3, Titans. And number 4, Colts.
All right. Mine's similar, but maybe a little more spicy. I've also got the Jags at 1. I think there
Ooh.
was a lot of injuries. That defense underperformed. I think we're going to see ETN rebound. I think
Yeah,
we're
because
gonna see
one of the
Bigsby
reasons
rebound.
why I wasn't picking the Texans hands down was C.J. Stroud went out of his mind and did a hell of a job when he was dealing with an offense that was like half or a quarter of the offense that it used to be with all the injuries. Every time you turn around, okay, Nico Collins is down. Okay, this one's down. That one down. Well, who the hell does he throw to? And he's still throwing to people and done amazing, but they were plagued with injuries last year.
Number 2, Tennessee.
Ooh,
I'm going to take
wow.
Tennessee as the number 2 team.
Seriously?
I am. I think Cam Ward's going to be good. Think of how many
You
times
think,
you saw.
going from Levis to Ward is that much of a quantifiable
Think about how many
jump?
times you saw memeable moments of Will
True.
Levis
True.
after he threw an interception that cost them the game.
I'm still thinking it's a year of transition, so that's why I have the Titans at 3. I mean, I think
It's a
they're better.
weak division.
True.
At number 3, I'm going to take the Colts.
Oh, wow.
And that puts the Texans at 4. So,
Ooh.
again,
So you're thinking
I'm a
that
little spicy.
you're thinking the injuries affected them even more than I did from last year.
Well, we're going to talk about the Texans first because they won the division last year at 10-7. The Colts 8-9. Then we'll go to Jags and Titans. The Texans last year, they lost Tank Dell. I think he's probably not coming back this season. Joe Mixon struggled with injuries. Nico Collins had injuries.
Yeah, Joe Mixon is definitely a
Stephon
red
Diggs.
flag for drafting.
Stephon Diggs went out. The offensive line was one of the worst in football, and then they traded away Laramie Tunsil, their best offensive lineman.
Stephon Diggs apparently didn't take advice from the New York Giants and don't post any pictures on any boats of any kind.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. But fortunately, he's not there anymore. He was hurt last year too, though. The defense, 372 points allowed, not great, but in a soft division, it was good enough. They were only 10-7.
No, I mean,
and they were 5-1 in this bad division.
I'm referring to the picture Diggs posted.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay, okay.
I know, but he's with New England now, so but he was hurt early on last season. They were a 10-7 team that went 5-1 in division. That means outside of the division they were 5-6. And this division had the team that picked first and the team that picked fifth. And the Colts were picked 14. They had no competition in this division. So, if my theory is right, that Jacksonville's going to be better. Tennessee's going to be better. The Colts, I think they're better with Daniel Jones. I don't know if that's where it's going to go. But if they're smart and just say, hey, we have Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's awesome. We have a new rookie tight end. He's awesome. We've got Pittman and Downs. Let's just play smart, maybe be a 60-40 run heavy team. That defense comes a little ways. But I think that offensive line for the Texans is bad. And then you look at Joe Mixon, already hurt with a foot injury. Nick Chubb hasn't looked good, and he's been in and out of the lineup. Nico Collins had that big injury. You've got rookies in Noel and Higgins. What if they just aren't what you're hoping for? And this defense could take a step back. So I think the Texans are a 6 or 7 win team. I think It's going to be an absolute logjam. Don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying, basically. I don't think the Texans are a dumpster fire team. I just have this funny feeling that this year it's not going to be as easy for them, and it's not going to break their way. I don't see them going 5-1 in the division. I see them maybe a 3-3 team in the division. Have a little tougher schedule outside of it. You can easily fall into a 7-10 team, and it might be a tie at the bottom, but I just don't see them being what they've been. Stroud didn't take that step forward. That line took a step back. The weapons, I think, took a step back and at least guaranteed what we expect out of them because of the two rookies. And it's a new coordinator, I believe, as well. So it's just a lot of change in Houston. It's a division that I think their bottom teams are on the rise. I don't think the culture can be terrible. So, yeah, that's what I got. Joel, your thoughts on Houston? Because it's different than mine.
Oh, that's just pretty much the main thing that I thought that they were that Stroud bounces back, but the whole question is, how much the injuries from last year carry forward into this year, and that's why I tend to think that they won't win the division because you still had CJ Stroud, who has had an amazing performance, and didn't matter who was put in front of him to throw to or to hand off to, but yeah, you just have to wonder once again. Last year, the injuries, how will they be hanging around?
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about the Colts. The big thing here is who's the starting quarterback? Is it Richardson, who can't throw the ball, or Daniel Jones, who is Daniel Jones? We don't know. But Jonathan Taylor's still great. Pittman, Downs, and Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end, should all have productive fantasy football seasons in the works. Defense needs to step up a little bit, but I think with better quarterback play, you should see the defense not on the field as much, and that should help. I think Daniel Jones is the better of the two. He's got more experience. He's led a team to a playoff win. Yes, it sounds weird to say that, but he did take the Giants to a playoff win over the Vikings. I think he's a better quarterback. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, because when you're looking at both quarterbacks, as Daniel Jones was released because of contract, they wanted to dump the contract and get that out of there. And AR-15, what the main thing I think everybody remembers about him is how he had to actually take some time off in the middle of a game, and I think that still pretty much resonates with everybody. That's just something that you tend not to do when you're in the NFL and you're paid to be a quarterback. And there's a lot of questions about AR-15 and his resiliency going forward. And as much as I can't believe I'm saying this, I have to agree. Daniel Jones is the better quarterback. He just has to step up and show it.
I mean, we saw Anthony Richardson injured each of his first 2 years. We saw him, again, tap out of the game. That's why I did the head thing. We saw him get injured in the first preseason game because he missed a free rusher coming right in his face to his strong side. It's not like he had the back turn. He was looking here, but he was coming from the direction. If you're sitting, you could look and see him. Got blown up, hurt his pinky, so now he's going to miss a little bit more time. I don't know where it's going to go. If they start Anthony, I don't think either one of them starts the whole season. I kind of think they start with Anthony Richardson and then go to Daniel Jones. If Anthony Richardson plays more of the season, I think the Colts are the last place team in this division. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to ride Jonathan Taylor, which you saw at the end of last year. They rode him heavily, and they did really, really good things at that time. I think they're going to do it again, and that's for fantasy. That's a huge, huge endorsement. They start against Miami, and I think you'll see the tone set real early, whether this is going to be a team that's smart and runs the ball, or they want to trust Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones to try and win it with their arm. All right, next up is the team we're both picking to win the division. It's Jaguars. Of course, they still have Brian Thomas Jr. was the number 4 wide receiver last season in fantasy. He's not going anywhere. I personally think Travis Etienne going in the 8th or 9th round of fantasy drafts is an absolute travesty. No pun intended, but he shouldn't be going that late. He's still the number 1 for an offense that I think a lot of people think is going to be improved. Tank Bigsby is going to be there. Brenton Strange, tight end, just a name to keep in the back of your mind who could come up during the season. He's the person replacing Evan Ingram, who's now in Denver. And, of course, the first round, 2nd overall pick of Travis Hunter is going to play both sides of the ball. Primarily wide receiver sounds like the plan. So, offensively, this is a team with Liam coming in. Could be just that much better because of good coaching and a few more pieces around them. And health. Remember, Trevor Lawrence missed time, then he came back and got absolutely obliterated by Al Shahir, I think it is. Just
Yep, that was the name.
took his head off. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, because I remember all of the suspension talk and all. Yep.
Yeah, and there's a case to be made that Lawrence slid late, and that's a whole different problem. But he was injured. We saw a lot of Mac Jones. We saw a lot
Didn't
of
he also
dumb
get
plays.
stepped on by his own player?
Yeah, he had a couple weird injuries and then the concussion, but Mac Jones was out there, and that's not a guy you want running your offense. The defense, when you have a bad offense, you are on the field more often. With defense, you get worn down, you give them more points. I think the defense should improve just if the offense is more capable, not being on the field as much. So I think the Jags are poised to make a huge step in the right direction. Part of it is because it is such a soft division. Full disclosure, you put the Jags in the AFC North, they're the bottom team. But in this division, I just think it's weak enough they'll be fine.
Yeah, because it's the 2 factors you definitely mentioned. Number 1, T-Law healed. He's more of his normal self, and that's going to help the Jaguars big time. And then you have Travis Hunter, who's an absolute cheat code when you have all the talk about he's going to be playing on both sides of the ball. That's just insane because that's just not something you normally hear. And yeah, can one player be that much of a factor of a team and turn them around? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, he has the potential to be a heart and soul guy, and he's going to be their number 2 receiver behind Brian Thomas. Like, the opportunity is there. Joel Baker Mayfield was an MVP candidate last year with Liam Cohen's offense, so if he can install that well, you saw Bucky Irving and Rachaad White be very good, so that can be Etienne, that could be Tank Bigsby, that can be Michelle Tootin. All 3 of them could be very good. I think for fantasy, Etienne's probably one, but they're both undervalued. Let's be fair. You take your chance on one of them, you probably are going to be okay if you get it right as Joel disappears. I don't know if I said the Colts. I think they're going to be about the same record, 8-9. I think the Jags could be an 11-win team. I think they win this division. I think they probably win most of the games in the division that they play. They're going to have to be better outside of the division than they have been in the last couple of years, and I just think this offense is going to keep getting better. The defense is going to step up, and the Jags are going to be a good enough team to win this division and probably lose in the first round of the playoffs. As we wait for Joel, I will set up the Tennessee Titans, and hopefully we'll be back in a second. Titans, 3-14 last year. Will Levis was probably the least valuable player in all of football. Cost them some wins. They did beat the Dolphins the week one of the weeks Tua was out. Thank you, Tyler Huntley. But they did go and get Tyler Lockett, who, yes, is on the back end, but put him with Calvin Ridley. You got a couple rookies. Still got Chig Okonkwo. You have Tony Pollard. Better quarterback in Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He should be better than what they've had. Now, whether or not it's going to be enough to win this division or even compete is still a ways away, hard to tell. But if the defense can step up just a little bit and that offense is improved, this is a team that has the potential to go worst to first. It is a soft division. It's one where you can see the path for the Titans. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm taking them as the number 2 team in the division. I'm not saying they're going to make that next step, as I'm still waiting on Joel. So for the Titans, your fantasy options, I think Tony Pollard's an absolute steal. He's going in like the 7th round of drafts. He's going to be a starting running back for a team that's getting better. Cam Ward is not being drafted. Really, nobody on the Titans is being drafted outside of Tony Pollard. So if you think this team's going to be potentially breaking out, you can go and say, I want Chigakonkwo. I want maybe Shamari DK, who is one of the rookie wide receivers, or Elmanor, or that Calvin Ridley is also still there. I think he's about a 6th or 7th round pick. The way I see the Titans, I think they're going to be probably an 8-9, 9-8 level team. Again, I think this is going to be a logjam division where I said the Texans probably 7 wins as the bottom team, Jags 11 at the top, Colts and Titans roughly in that same range of 7, 8, 9 wins. Still waiting on Joel. We will come back to Tennessee if he rejoins us. I wonder what happened. Let's see if I can find out. Next, we are going to go to the AFC West with the provision. We can go back to hear about the Titans from Joel when he comes back. Last year, of course, we had the Kansas City Chiefs, the number 1 team in the division, the team that went to the Super Bowl at 15-2. They are still a team to be reckoned with, even though they got a lot of luck last year. There were a lot of fluky wins. Can't connect. Oh, that's different. Technology is interesting. Chiefs finished the division, or won the division at 15-2. The Chargers at 11-6. The Broncos were a surprise team last year at 10-7, and the Raiders were 4-13. So not an easy division by any stretch of the imagination. The Broncos ascending. The Raiders with the draft that was, I thought, pretty good with Genty and Best. I don't know how Bech Becht. They should be a better team. I do think when all is said and done that something is weird on my end too. Hold, please. All right, we are definitely having some technical problems as B Live didn't want to work at all for a little bit. So hopefully we are coming back. Apologize for the long period of dead air on the live stream as I'm watching it. All right, let me see if we can get Joel back in here. We'll keep back going. Yeah, when you do a digital program and the site itself wants to crash, that's always fun. Let's see if Joel can come back. Now, we were talking about the AFC West, really hadn't gotten too far into it. Chiefs won 15-2. Chargers 11-6 for second. Broncos 10-7. Raiders 4-13. Give Joel another second. We'll talk about some fantasy options in this division. I think one of the picks that everybody's going to be looking at is the early drafting of Alshon Jenti. He is the number 6 overall pick from last year's draft. He went to the Las Vegas Raiders. He very good in college, but coming out of Boise State, there are a little bit of question marks around. Is he ready for the NFL? Is he going to be good enough to compete in the NFL? Hopefully he will be. I think he's about it for the Raiders, though. Jacoby Myers is going to be draftable 8th round pick. He's going to be a steadying force if you have bad wide receiver depth. Probably not an inspirational player by any stretch of the imagination. For the Broncos, Bo Nix is still a very good quarterback. He should be he's going to be drafted in most of your leagues. Cortland Sutton has the potential to be a wide receiver 1. And then in the backfield, RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, who was signed in the off season, as Joel is finally able to join back in. Hopefully, as I don't see a camera, but work in progress. We are at least he's able to get back into the app. Hooray. For the Chiefs, you still have Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco. I see Joel. Now, can I hear Joel? That's the other question.
Hello.
Hello, technology sucks sometimes. All right. So.
Yeah, because I kept trying to sign back on to Be Live and it was going bleh, 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 bleh. So I was like, okay, restart computer.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. I had an issue. I actually tried to refresh it because all of a sudden my screen got wonky too. As he's still here, but he's not here.
Brian's going.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a nice long, like minute long dead.
So thank you for talking endlessly.
Yeah. So let's go back. Let's get your opinion on Tennessee.
Sorry
I already
about
given
that.
mine. Technology is fun. So Tennessee. Then we'll jump into the AFC West. I've kind of already set it up, but let's get your thoughts on Tennessee. Then we'll go through the AFC West and wrap this up before we have any more problems on this episode.
Cam Moore is so much better than Will Levis that it's just a night and day, and that's why you definitely think that they're going to have some surprising wins. Don't think it's going to be fantastic, but it's got to be better than the mayonnaise man.
Yeah. Again, I've got them in second place. I think they're going to be an 8 or 9 win team. I think the Colts will be 7 or 8, and I think the Texans are probably 6 or 7, maybe 7, 8. Again, it could be a tie for last or tie for third, but yeah, I think the Jags have the division, and the Titans could be a sneaky surprise team this year. All right, so again, just for Joel's sake, Kansas City won the division last year, 15-2. Chargers 11-6 for second place. Broncos 10-7, all three of those in the playoffs, and the Raiders were 4-13 and did not qualify for the playoffs, but they got a high draft pick. So the Chiefs, the kings of the AFC, went back to the Super Bowl and got absolutely smoked by the eventual champion Philadelphia Eagles. Joel, tell me what you think for the Chiefs.
Sorry, repeat, because you literally just
cut out. What do you think about the Chiefs?
Oh, I thought we already. Oh, we haven't gotten to that division yet, right?
No, we haven't. We're starting the West. We were just about done with the South when all the tech stuff started up, and it's still a little active.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Hang on, I got it because I had to find where the what I wrote down about the West. So, yeah, because I had bring everything back up when everything goes. on you. But yeah, for when you say Chiefs, that I have for that division, I have Chiefs just because we know they're the Chiefs, and until even with their offensive deficiencies, that you've gotta keep them there until somebody takes them out of the running. And I know you tend to have a lot of talk about the Broncos, but I don't think they're quite there yet. Because I remember they shocked everybody when they beat the Bills last year, but still, as crazy as the Chiefs have done with winning the games, with how they won their games last year, especially some of the very sloppy win that you're just scratching your head. Still, until somebody takes them out, you got to put them in. The other thing about the Chiefs that I think just kind of scratches your head, which is why, flying, that the NFL is letting Rasheed Rice play games. Then they're going to suspend him in the middle of the season, which makes absolutely no sense at all. That you should honestly just suspend him first and get it over with, and then he can come back a couple of games in, or however many games it's going to be. Because it's weird. All of a sudden, you get to play until September 30th. Then they'll spin the wheel of justice and determine how many games he's going to be suspended for. It's just weird, and it really makes no logical sense to me.
It doesn't make sense from the league's point of view, but I think for Rasheed Rice, when he gets suspended, there's a chance that he can appeal it and play the entire season.
So you're telling me there's
And
a
then
chance?
next season, whatever suspension actually will take place. When you start 4 weeks in, it comes down, you appeal it. We've
Yeah,
seen
when
it
you
with
get
other guys. It gets kicked down the
yeah,
road so
you
far.
have these jail days, but you can do them whenever you want.
That's more weird to me. You were right. The Chiefs are the team that won this division, and it's hard to pick against them. We haven't gone through our picks for the division yet. We'll do that as we go. I think the Chiefs do take a step back. I think those fluky, weird. Hey, yeah, you blocked a chip shot field goal by Denver on the last play. Hey, you got that pass interference that didn't really happen against Cincinnati. Hey, you got this, you got that.
Hey, your superstar tight end is dating Taylor Swift, and
Well,
that's taking over the news.
that's still going on. She's got a new album that she announced on their podcast because we
There's a new
couldn't get
album. I haven't heard anything of
her.
that.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
Hashtag sarcasm.
Yeah, we shouldn't be publicizing that kind of thing. But anyways, I think the Chiefs fall to about an 11 or 12 win team. I do think this team takes a step back from 15-2. Not a bad thing because 15-2 is a kind of ridiculous record, but they got very lucky. They were only for being 13 games above 500. They were only 59
Would the term
points
luck sack
positive.
apply to the
A
Chiefs?
little bit. They had a net point differential of positive 59. The Chargers were 101. The Broncos, who were 10-7, were 114. And they had 13 more wins than losses. That's about 4.5 points a game positive in their wins. So I think some of that's going to turn. And one of those I know came to Denver. I know that the Chargers are going to be a good team. So I want to go through the division at the end, but I do think the Chiefs are going to be a playoff team. I see them being like 11 or 12 wins or so. Let's talk about the Chargers. Najee Harris, the Pirate fireworks issue, blew up his face and damaged his eye. He's apparently running. I don't know if he's going to be a factor for this team. O'Marion Hampton, the rookie, he's probably going to be number one before too long. Anyways, Justin Herbert's still on the roster. He's going to be good. We had the return of Mike Williams and the retirement of Mike Williams, and then the return of Keenan Allen, who is now back on this roster with Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris, the rookie, and Quentin Johnson, the guy who cannot catch the ball. Defensively, this team was pretty good last year, only allowing 301 points on the season. So that's a pretty good total. One of the better ones in the league, I believe. What do you think about the Chargers this year?
Well, Chargers is just I tend to think they finish as number 3, and they have the the right, and they have the fire and to be above, and maybe finish above too, but it's just hard putting that offense above the Broncos with what we saw the Broncos do last year and just absolutely stun everybody. And but yeah, I just have a hard time getting behind them until we can see something from Herbert, who all of a sudden, yeah, one good season, and then last year turned into as you like to call him, the trash can. As yeah, he had some amazing flashes, but he also had some very, very forgettable game. So that's why I got to put him in the number 3 slot.
Yeah, if the if man is the new thing with Justin Herbert, because if he could just do this or if they could just do that, if he's a lot of ifs, he doesn't have a playoff win. He's got as many playoff wins as Tua, and it's not great. I think the Chargers. You're going to hear this a few times in this division. I think they're about 11 or 12 win team. They actually had the best defense for points allowed at 301. It wasn't just one of the top; it was the top team on defense. The offense could take a step forward. They were 11-6 last year, but the Chargers find a way to lose dumb games. So that's what stops me from saying they're going to make the big leap. I think they're going to be pretty much where they were last year. Maybe get another win. Maybe you get another 2. If you get 2, I think you win the division. But I just think they're going to be the same old Chargers with a little bit of different feel, and we'll see how it goes in the playoffs. Next up is
So you're not going to add the Harbaugh factor as the why they will go to the Super Bowl.
I don't believe the Chargers will go to the Super Bowl. I just don't believe that. We'll talk about the full division after. Denver is up next. 10-7. They started real slow with Bo Nix, but Bo Nix turned into a revelation. They were one of the best defenses in the league. You see Cortland Sutton, RJ Harvey, the rookie, looks like he's going to be very good. J.K. Dobbins joining the backfield. Evan Engram at tight end. This is a good offense. I think it's going to be a better offense than it was last year, and they were already the highest scoring offense in this division with one of the best defenses in football. They went out and got another corner in the draft, or another second. Remember the secondary of the first round of the draft. I think the Broncos could be a very, very dangerous team this year. But Joel, tell me what you think.
Yeah, because I know everybody, they saw his face and they are believers last year as they really surprised everybody. Definitely some stunning wins there, and yeah, you have some people out there that they are boldly saying they can knock off the Chiefs this year. I'm not that bold, so I think that's why they can be number 2. I think they can contest for the division, but once again, until somebody actually does it and actually knocks the Chiefs off their pedestal, that's when you can say, okay, the Broncos did it and they're ready. But yeah, they're good. They're going to be dangerous. They're definitely better than the Chargers. They're way better than the Raiders, but they're number 2. And that's why I got to put them there.
I think the Broncos are about an 11 to 12 win team. As you can tell, I think it's going to be a very competitive division. I don't think all 3 of them will finish at that point. I just think one of them is going to have the floor fall out, and we'll go over which one.
The Chiefs are just going to somehow luck their way into it.
We'll go over which one I think is going to. I kind of think 2 get in, 1 doesn't.
Either by fortuitous or by design. Hashtag as the restaurant Art Truth would ask. It's a conspiracy. Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's again. I just think Denver's got the best chance in this division to come up and win the division. That's not the Chiefs. All right, let's wrap it up. We have the Raiders. Aston Genty and Jacoby Myers about your best fantasy assets. You can, or Brock Bowers, let's not forget him. And then Jack Becht, who is the rookie wide receiver. He could have some depth. Of course, Geno Smith now the quarterback, so improvement there. Pete Carroll the coach, improvement there. Tell me what you think about the Raiders.
Just everybody is forecasting that they're going to get better. I have to agree. They're going to be one of the surprisingly better teams this year. But yeah, not better to be above the basement, and I'm putting them in the bottom slot in number 4, and hopefully, they're going to not totally suck in 2025, but yeah, you had so much hope and just a lot of disappointment for this franchise recently.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos as the 1 in this division, the Chiefs as the 2, the Chargers as the 3, and the Raiders as the 4. I think the Chargers end up just on the outside of the playoffs, even.
The most memorable Raiders moment you have is their head coach resigning in the half of Monday Night Football recently.
Yeah. All right, so I don't think Joel's got his playoff pick, so I've got Buffalo, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Denver as my division winners. The wild card teams, I'm going to take Kansas City, obviously. I'm going to take Cincinnati, and I'm really torn between Miami and the Chargers. I think I'm going to be a homer and take the Dolphins just because I think that division's a little weaker. I think they'll get a few more wins, and I think their schedule
Well,
overall.
when you're asking that question, it's called which team has the better offense? Do the Chargers have the better offense, or does the Dolphins have the better offense?
With Tua, I'd almost take the Dolphins, but without Tua, obviously
Yeah,
that's not the case. I'm admitting I'm being a homer on this one. I'm putting the Dolphins in over the Chargers, but it's probably going to be the Chargers if we're being realistic. Or I can go really crazy and just say Tennessee over. I'm going to say Tennessee over Chiefs and take them both down. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right.
wouldn't that be going back to
Anything?
the all crazy time?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I already took them to be second in the division. So, anything else for this episode? We're going to skip final thoughts because it's already an hour and 50 minutes with a tech problem in there.
Agreed. Motion passed.
All right, so we'll be back. We're going to do a couple lottery pulls. I have to make a phone call apparently, and then we'll do our NFC predictions probably tonight. It's already almost 6:45. So, all right,